Hey guys, so welcome back to Indirect Knowledge. So tonight, got a tarot card reading, and we're just going to use the first initials JM. And this is a tarot card reading about a newer relationship. So JM has been in a relationship with a guy. We'll just call his name Michael. Pretty common name, and for a little bit now. So she just wanted to get kind of a general reading on it to see maybe what the future had in store for the relationship, and just kind of get some understanding about it. So yeah, way cool. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. The weekend's almost over. We're about to get back into the wind and grind of the week again, and that can be exciting too, depending on our attitude. So if you're kind of excited about what the new week has in store for you, and or maybe you're not, reach out if you want a tarot reading. You guys can find out pretty much how to get in touch and all that good stuff. Just go to my little website, link site. It's indirectknowledge.com, and you can get a lot more information. I've got courses. I've got all kinds of good stuff on there. I'm constantly adding new stuff all the time. So if you guys want to just kind of keep in touch, I would just say add yourself to the list. There's a little form you just fill out with your name and email. And then if you want to kind of get some notification of what we got going on, we'll send you out some emails and stuff, got all kinds of cool stuff. All right, so the first thing I do is I always do like a tarot card reading, or when I do a tarot card reading, I do it first shuffle to kind of clear the cards to, get rid of any old energy, make sure that they're really shuffled great and everything like that. And then the next thing that I do is I do another reading where I literally just kind of focus in on the question, kind of trances me out a little bit. I go into sort of like almost like a hypnotic state. And it's in this state that I get so much information on. It's taken me a long time to learn, how I kind of get information. It used to be kind of more trial and error. Now it's a little bit more, I just kind of know what works just from a lot of experience. So I just like to kind of share that with people in case maybe you're, somewhat psychic and you're sometimes right on, and then other times maybe you're not so right on. I just kind of wanted to get a little feedback from somebody else that's been there, done that. I'd like to share back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another quick shuffle, and this is just going to be regarding JM and give me just 1 second, guys. Sorry. Yeah, JM and Michael. So now I'm just focusing in on the querent and the person in question, the person that's there, she's in a relationship with, just to kind of get a little bit of, and I feel myself, I'm just kind of like literally kind of trancing out a little bit here, guys. And it's almost like the cards, I can hear them louder. I'm just more in tune with them. Like every little movement is, causing me to go a little bit deeper into this kind of trance-like state. Things are starting to come to me a little bit. Almost like nails on a chalkboard sometimes. Not always, but not in a bad way, though. Not in a bad way. Just kind of in a very, like, heightened sense of awareness kind of way. And I just kind of literally just kind of trance out. And then it's just like the perfect, I'm not even consciously aware of what I'm even doing. Let's go ahead and do a 7-card reading for this. I'm just going to go ahead and put the cards out here. Wow. Oh, wow. Interesting. All right. So first card we have is our past card. I'm calibrated to about 3 months out. So if you guys have never seen this channel before, it just means that, when it comes to time and time frames, timelines, that type of thing, I'm sort of calibrated till about 3 months in the past and about 3 months in the future. I kind of know about where that is, depending on the heaviness or the energy of the cards. And so when I get this information and that, I can kind of make a determining factor based on what that energy feels like relative about where that 3 month mark is. So it kind of is like a baseline for me. This is the King of Wands. King is a little bit serious energy. And also this is something a little bit more probably closer to home to that 3 or 4 month mark out is about what I'm feeling for this. Maybe even a little bit closer home to maybe even the second month out. So we're looking at about, I'm going to say right around, if I was going to try to pinpoint this down as quickly as I could, I would say probably about even maybe like 1 week out. For some reason, I'm kind of picking up maybe like 1 week to 1 month out. So it's a little bit closer than I had originally intended, but this king is a little bit more of a serious thing. King with the wands right here is really about action. Action is like creative action, but it's one that's in control of the action. So the king is really in control of the action. It's the top of the suit, and the suit being the wands being about action. It's one of the fast moving kind of decks. I get kind of a faster energy. That's why I'm kind of picking up more closer to about maybe 1 week to 1 month out, somewhere in that ballpark. Next, we have the Two of Swords. This Two of Swords right here is our present. This is interesting because it's sort of like we're kind of weighing things out a little bit for ourselves, but we're also kind of putting blinders on. We're not completely open to everything going on in the relationship or what's going on always behind the scenes exactly. We don't always know what's in a person's mind. We haven't gotten enough information from them as of yet to be able to read their mind so much to really feel comfortable enough in that. Though maybe we feel a sense of comfort around this person, but we're just not to where we can really get a good read on the person. That's kind of what this is indicating here. We have the moon in the backdrop there and all, kind of almost like a hypnotizing effect as well. We get the water and stuff that comes in from the tide. We have the two, which is about relationships and balance. That's kind of the nature of what we're talking about here. We also have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is our future card, about 3 months out. This is about 2 months out I'm picking up. Page of Cups is not quite as, it's really the first card when we start to pick up into the aristocracy. So we're getting into the page or the royalty and that type of thing. And so this is really about messages about relationships. And that's kind of what this is coming, is kind of more bringing out. So we're getting an idea about 2 months out. We start to get a little bit more information about the relationship. We start to get a message about things. Things are starting to add up, make more sense to us about 2 months out. As far as this, let's talk about this card here for a moment. We said kind of putting on the blinders of the relationship and stuff as of this moment. Let's get a little bit more precise with that. We have this card here that kind of is the overlay for that card. And so this card right here is really one about getting to a place of groundedness. So we're not really solely relying on things, or we're not so dependent on people as much anymore. We're sort of self-sufficient, or we sort of have a self-reliance and that type of thing. And because of that self-reliance and having that, it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off of the relationship aspect of it. So it allows us to kind of be more aware of things, So even though we see this as sort of being can be aware of everything and yet not aware sort of type of deal because of the blindfold and that with the swords are about thoughts getting in our mind. That's kind of where we're at right now with this. It's also a sense of security, this card here. So there's that part of it that's, if this thing doesn't work out, hey, I've got a fallback plan. I've got something I can kind of lean on and so it takes a little bit, it kind of grounds us. And so by being grounded, you can kind of be more yourself in the relationship. You don't have to kind of be so, what that person wants you to be, but you can be more yourself, which is a good feeling. And then we have kind of where your energy is. And this is where it is. We have the moon. This is, my name's Chandra, which also means moon in Sanskrit. So this is one that I'm quite well familiar with, but this moon card right here is very hypnotizing type of card. You see the wild dog or the tame dog and the wild wolf. In this, you see the crayfish or crawdad, however you want to, depending on where you're at in the country, in the world. But this moon here is really like, it's a maddening sense. It has a tendency, you've heard of the howling at the moon kind of thing and stuff like that. But this is really controls like the tides. And so it's kind of the behind the scenes kind of thing. It's that hypnotizing, it's the subconscious, and that's kind of what this is. And that's where you kind of have a sense of attunement to things. And that's what that's really picking up. Now let's talk about the kind of the answer to the to the outcome before we get into the outcome, and that's going to be the death card here. Death card is really about, a lot of times it's about endings and completions, but it can also be about transformation. It can also mean a literal death in some ways. But it's also an 8 in numerology, the death card, and the major arcana. It's a major arcana card, just like our moon card here was. And so that just means it gives a little bit more of an importance in terms of the scheme of life, or the scheme of our wholeness, that type of thing. So our narrative here goes a little bit beyond just the day-to-day, and that's this death card right here. Believe it or not, 8's really about groundedness. Sometimes death can ground us, can kind of wake us up a little bit to be able to see other things, which is a little bit of irony with the whole death card. And let's go on to the outcome. Okay, 3 of Cups, 3 of relationships. This is a celebratory one. You got the 3 friends here, the 3 sisters, however you want to label it or define it or see it. This is about like jubilation. It's about sharing good times and that, and there's some really cool thing. You have almost like not quite a cornucopia, but you have you have the pumpkin here and stuff like that. Things you might see in, of course, Thanksgiving, giving gratitude and thanks to things. So a little bit of the iconography that we find in this. 3 is also about telling. It's also very narrative. And so what is the way of doing this, keeping other relationships in our life alive? It's, believe it or not, it's this death card. It's putting don't let people come between other people is kind of what this reading is telling us, So with regard to the relationship and that, we get a little bit more insight, a little bit more information about month 2 out. So as we kind of move forward with this relationship and all, you'll start to see things kind of come about. Remember though, as this whole thing keeps going, you're very grounded, you're stable, things are good for you, you're not relying on the relationship. That's a really empowering place to be. Some of us actually are relying on our relationships. And so, we get with people maybe not necessarily for the right reasons, but maybe for security purposes and these kind of things. You're not in that kind of situation per se. And the death card there is kind of like your key or your answer in some ways. It's like we can always at any time put an end to things. We don't have to, get with something, and we don't have to be fooled into something along those lines. And then what does that bring? It brings more harmony. This narrative here is one of harmony. So what is this telling you to do? Or what's kind of the answer to it? Kind of what I'm picking up, or the sensation I'm getting with this particular relationship kind of dynamic, is that it may be very good right now, but you could be dealing with someone that's more I don't know if I want to maybe like I'm trying to think of a good word for this. Thinking maybe supercilious or something along those lines. Not quite maybe narcissistic per se, but maybe someone that's a little bit quietly proud, or they've got kind of a not an arrogance, but maybe a little bit. But it's almost like where some people may feel like they're better than other people, or that they're in a better situation than other people, and in a tendency kind of just, I don't want to say be snobbish or snub other people or something like that. It's not altogether like that. It's just more about like, it brings a sense of like, what's a good word for it? Like security, a sense of security, and an air of security. Almost makes a person, not seem weak, which can be attractive to partners. So the person that you're with may have that kind of a inclination almost. And they could even be, and you'll find this out probably closer to that second month out, maybe it's almost that narcissistic kind of energy. I won't say that that person's necessarily a narcissist. I'm not actually qualified to tell you that, but I could see that, like things could be really good on the front end of the relationship. And that tends to be the kind of situation that sometimes happens, that people tend to put in, how do you say, they're very like complimentary. They're very, very nice to you. They pay you respect, compliments. They gratify you. love bombing is a good word for it. They may say, "Oh, you are such a how where have you been my whole life?" Very charming. It's a kind of a charm almost. It's a very almost like a very charmingness, and it may be arrogant, but in a light way, which is kind of acceptable. And what I mean by that is it might be, I can't believe those people. It's just crazy people, but oh well, we're all crazy, I guess sometimes. That would be almost kind of like a gaslighting kind of situation where they might say, this and but because of the way that they're presenting it to you, or because of the way that they're communicating, you just like, yeah, you just kind of go along with it, or kind of go with the flow. There's uh no warning bells going off, or no uh red flags coming up, something along those lines, as of yet. And the key word is yet. So we have that unconsciousness. Unconscious means, behind the radar is kind of where you're at right now with it. So, I would say that, you may get to a place where I just don't get to a place where, like, if you have friends, or you have people in your life that you care about, that you have good relationships with, that maybe you start distancing yourself away from those people. Maybe as a result of this relationship, or the development of this relationship. I mean, with relationships, I've noticed a lot of people tend to, once you find that person, or you get with that special someone, or you start seeing someone more consistently, or more frequently, more often, what tends maybe to be the case is that some of the other people in your life may just kind of like take a back seat, because, hey, you're friends, you're good with them, those people, you have a good relationship with them, and everything is great. They're going on with their life, you're going on with your life, everyone's happy, but you can still be friendly, be great, have a good relationship. That sense of groundedness that you have, I'm really, really happy for that, because this is gonna, if you get to a place, 2 months out, somewhere in that ballpark, where you just start to feel devalued, or maybe the person is not giving you the attention like they did on the front end, and I don't want to say detesting you, or maybe just like judging you, or they're just not as happy to be around you. If you start to experience any of that, or any of those kind of signs start to pop up, just remember something, is that's this card right here. It's kind of your key. So don't look at this as like death, in the sense of like, oh my God, this is like the most horrible card in the deck. It's sometimes it can be, like a very sad card to come up in a particular reading, depending on the type of reading. For this one here, this is kind of your answer key. So this is the one to keep in the back of your mind. Say, look, I'm strong enough that I don't have to have a relationship with this person. I don't need this person in my life. If this person starts to devalue me, or start to, just not be very nice, I can end it, and that's your out. That's sort of like the key to this. Just cut it off, and it's very grounded. That you're in a good sense. You're in a good place now. Obviously, people try, in the material world that we live in, people try often to get to a better place. And so they may use relationships, they may use resources, they may use jobs, they may use all businesses, they may use all kinds of different things to get them from point A to point B, to get them up the rung of success, the ladder of success, the stairway to wherever they want to go. And the thing is that if you can keep that key in mind, you can have this outcome, which is just celebration. You've got people in your life that care about you, that love you, that you're not without, which is a good place to be in. I mean, not all of us have this kind of situation, but you do, and this is a narrative. And so you're not, if you lose a relationship, it doesn't mean that you're losing. Sometimes it's you're gaining, and sometimes you have to cut yourself off from things in order to get to that better place and all. And I just tell you guys what I get, so like, just remember, like, even when I do a tarot card reading like this, if I'm giving this information out, this is just the stuff that's coming to me unconsciously, it's almost psychically. And I don't know this person like personally. I don't, I haven't spent it. All three of us haven't gone to a coffee shop and sat down and had coffee together. And I've had kind of that one-on-one personal time and attention with the person. This is stuff that just comes to me psychically. This is stuff with the cards and through this kind of stuff. This is stuff that just kind of, this is the energy that comes in. It doesn't mean that it's always 100% the way that I paint it when I do a tarot card reading. So don't take it 100%, in the here and now. Don't bank on it. Don't use it as a way of like self-sabotaging the relationship or anything like that. Enjoy it for what it is. Like, I mean, it always feels great when people are being nice to us, or they're showing us attention, or they're complimenting us, or that kind of thing. It's just when things start to shift, and you'll know, like, we all see that. We see where there's those gradual shifts. Sometimes they're so gradual that we don't see them, or that it's too late when we do see them, and it's just like, okay, I got to do something. This just isn't working out anymore. What do I do? Or have I taken on too much, or have I sacrificed too much? So key here is, don't sacrifice too much. Don't give in too much to this person's needs, wants, and desires, to the exclusion of yourself, like to lose. Like, don't be taken advantage of. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're not feeling empowered, that you couldn't walk away from this relationship at any given time and still be fine, still feel comfortable, still feel like you're grounded, and still feel like you can move on with your life as an independent, as an individual. Don't make that mistake. But as the time progresses and all, and you see the true colors of a person, and you see things start to become more reflective, that's when you start to realize that, hey, I have the answer is this. Now, what happens if you decide you want to go other course or something like that? Sure. I mean, there's a lot of room for opportunity. There's, you can write your future however you want to do it. This is just what's coming now. So, like, that's why I say, like, I don't like to give nobody likes to get bad advice or bad news or anything like that. And that's not, I'm just giving you the kind of the energy that's coming out right at this given moment, like what I'm getting. So just try to take it for that. Like, don't overthink it or overread into it. Just realize that, the advice I'm giving you is also kind of somewhat practical advice. Just kind of keep your guard up a little bit, and just, be on the lookout for signs that this person could be a little bit, it can be more kind of that, they can paint a pretty picture and make you believe a lot of great things about them, and and compliment you and bring you into their fold, and then later on start to devalue you until, like with narcissism, it's usually that 3-step. They love bomb the crap out of you, then they get to the discardment, or the disregarding you, and then it's kind of that, get you out of your life. They just kind of cut you off altogether at some point. They go find someone else, and it's sort of this kind of this energy. That's sort of the energy that I pick up a little bit. So just be a little cautious of that, and I'm trying to think. There's like I'm picking up like the color red, like with regard to something. It's like, it's sunset or early sunrise, and there's like I don't know if it's a beach towel, or it's some kind, it's red. And when I say red, I mean, like, it's almost like a new piece of red fabric or something. It could be like kind of that material, like a tent is made out of, or a bathing suit material kind of thing is made out of, something along those lines. But I'm picking it up very strongly now, and I'm seeing it's just kind of like early morning, and it's like a little bit windy outside. There's some wind going. And I'm trying to think of like what is going on with that. It's like more like, it's a good time. It's like a really good memory, I think. I'm picking up some really good energy with it. It'll be a fun experience, something good. Romantic, like, feelings start to come into your mind, like into your being, those feelings of like, almost like carefree, but at the same time, very loving feelings, very emotionally loving feelings, where you start to have that change of heart kind of thing, really start to fall for this person. And that can be just, it can be like a really great experience. I'm picking up a really positive experience with that. I don't know if it's a beach, but I like almost like sandiness, or like earthiness, like grounded, like outdoorsy. Not a lot of, maybe a little greenery, but not a lot of greenery. It's more kind of like almost like a beach or something, or like but there's wind and stuff that's coming and stuff. So, and that I don't see you guys in the picture, but I feel that you're there. Like I feel the sense that you're there somehow. And it's almost like a sense of like, yeah, you're just having a really romantic, passionate kind of experience, that type of thing. It's very like, oh, how best to put it? Like, it's almost like it's something special, like otherworldly. It's physical, but it's also passionate and loving. And there's those feelings, that deep sense of love. It's, it's quite intense. I'm picking up pretty strongly. I'm trying to get you like a little bit of a timeline on it. It's pretty close. It's close enough that I don't even know if it's like maybe just recently happened or if it's something that's to happen pretty soon, within the next couple of weeks or something. But I'm kind of picking up that it's going to be some kind of an experience or something. But yeah, it's almost like I don't want to say out of body, but it's just kind of like a very intense. And it's, it could be where like you really start to think, hey, this is really the person, this person's, I enjoy being around this person, like it's that sense of like, I can't wait till we go and do something else again, and it starts to really trying to bring it out for you. It's just like a really intense kind of good feeling. It's like a high almost, it's like, but it's a good kind of relational kind of sensation and stuff. And the problem with those kind of things is like, it's just like someone that's on, drugs or something, or somebody that's that has a like alcohol abuse or drug abuse or something like that. Like once that wears off, it's very like it's just a really horrible feeling. It's almost like you got to get it back. It's like it's addictive almost. So yeah, so kind of like just realize though, no matter what emotions are telling you and everything like that, just remember that you have that key if you need it. I'm not saying you're necessarily going to need it, but if you need it, it's in your back pocket. And if and when you have to use it, should you have to use it, I'm not saying 100% if you have to use it, but should you have to use it, positive things are going to come as a result. Outcomes are going to come out that are very positive. Other good relationship things are going to happen for you. It's not going to be, woe is me, I want to bury my head in the sand and never come out again. I'm going to be depressed forever and ever and ever. It's not going to be like that. It'll be very short-lived. And then you'll start to move on and transition and stuff. And you'll have a good support system there for yourself. If it comes down to that, of course, everything is up to us. And sometimes if we're oblivious to things or, we have a high tolerance for, whatever, we all make decisions kind of differently, so it's just kind of some food for thought. But just remember, you have these grounded cards, and you can be oblivious to things, which is kind of nice. Like new relationships, they have that air of secrecy, that air of mystery, and getting to know someone can be exciting, and can be a lot of fun. And, people can put on fronts, and that's kind of what this is sort of saying, like get to know the deeper person, but don't, that's what I'm trying to really relay here is like, I don't like giving people like advanced information like this without sort of this caveat or this sort of this disclaimer of saying, don't be unfair to someone just because of a tarot card reading, like don't now start to look for all the negative things in this person just because of a tarot card reading. That's not fair to the person. Just understand that this is just some energy that I'm picking up on. And just be aware of it. Like use it as sort of a resource for yourself, and it's a cautionary tale in this new relationship kind of thing, to let yourself know that, hey, I can have some really great experiences here. Don't know if it's going to be long lasting or not, but ultimately that's up to you. But I know I can have some really positive experiences, and I do pick that up. That's what I was telling you with like the kind of that red bathing suit, or it could be like a wrap or something like that, maybe that's kind of flapping in the wind a little bit, but it's maybe two people are spending some time together and having a good moment, kind of outside or something, in a nice, quiet, romantic environment. It's kind of what I'm picking up. So, I mean, if you get nice things, that's pretty positive, so that's kind of good news. But just watch for the treatment of the person, kind of like, some of the nicest people we'll ever meet are some of the people that, after knowing them for a little bit of time, were some of the people that we detested knowing ever. So it's kind of one of those things. So just keep your boundaries, and just remember who you are, love yourself, and remember that you're a very strong person, and that you don't have to put up with anything that you don't want to put up with. And you have the power to, you have that power. So just remember that. So you can transform however you want. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I think if there's anything else I'm kind of picking up here. I think I pretty much said everything. Yeah, pick up some positive things with this, like just having fun, and it's this guy Michael. Very, like likable, like I get that likability factor, very, very kind of attractive, very kind of attractive kind of energy that's, enjoyable to be around and that kind of thing. But then, that superciliousness comes out a little bit, that tendency of that, I don't want to, those people are idiots, that type of mentality. We've seen people act that way before, just having lived life, where I can't believe that person would even, it could be something about, saying something bad on the homeless people or something, like, who would ever want to put themselves in this, it could just be something like that. And it could just be like, just very subtle and very in passing. Or it could just be kind of like, you notice their facial expression or something, and kind of the way that and it just kind of like, the way it's said is like, you just kind of like brush it off, but it's sort of like one of those signs, like if you really pay attention to all the little things, they add up to bigger things, later on. So it's just one of those things, just kind of, if you notice things like that, pay attention. Don't judge, I wouldn't say judge someone, but just, just realize that your energy and their energy may diverge at certain times, and just be, kind of aware of it. And then, but enjoy yourself, like, I think this is going to be a pretty positive experience for you overall. But just remember, you have the power to, end it if you need to. And it may be a little hard because of the emotions and everything involved, but you have that ability to do it if need be. All right, I am tranced out here. I'm gonna have to quit this. All right, much love, many blessings, guys. If you haven't already done so, check out indirectknowledge.com, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification, find out whenever we do these readings and all that. And I will see you guys on the next episode of Indirect Knowledge. Much love, many blessings.